to all of your questions regarding health, fitness, nutrition, or anything else you're curious about. And before we get into this, just say what's up, Alex, in the comments below. If you can hear me, if you can see me, I want to make sure we're first dialed in, then there's actually communication. You can hear this mic right here. And I also want to say that thank you to everyone who bought my cookbook today. I know a lot of you have been asking me about a cookbook, and I haven't had one for a while, so I had to compile everything, put into a cookbook, and now I have one, and I've gotten a lot of great feedback about it. I make sure when you make the recipes, they actually tag me in it. Use a hashtag Alex Solomon so I can actually search that hashtag and see the recipes that you make and tag you my stories and all of that stuff. And if you want to get the cookbook yourself, you can check my Instagram or Facebook stories. You can swipe up or click on the link. It will take you to a checkout page, and make sure you tag me in your recipes, once you make them, and tell me how good they are and what else you want to see more of. So I really appreciate, all the feedback and everybody who's purchased a cookbook so far. And the cookbook, if you don't know, it's 40 recipes that take no more than 5 ingredients. There's a full entire grocery shopping list for all of the recipes. There's a meal plan that includes all of the recipes. But the most important thing that I think is really beneficial is there's a barcode for every single recipe. So if you want to scan it on MyFitnessPal, you can scan it real quick, plug it in, and without typing in every single ingredient individually. So I appreciate everybody who's bought one, and I would love to hear your feedback. And let me know down below if you have any questions. What's up, Jennifer? What's up, everyone? How do you get motivated? Linda asks. Oh, the cookbook is inside my stories. So if you go to my Facebook or Instagram stories, there's a link in there. You can click on it. It'll take you to a checkout page. But how do you stay motivated is you will not be motivated all the time. That is just a fact. So you have to create some kind of habits that you do every single day, no matter what. For example, maybe your habit is you will just make it a goal to walk outside today and get 2,000 steps in. Just make it a goal to walk outside for 20 minutes, because it's not, people don't really lose. I mean, they lose motivation, but what people actually lose is a feeling of control. If you have no control, you feel like it's all just falling, on top of your head, and you can't handle anything. So have a few habits, have a few non-negotiables that you do every single day, no matter how simple they are, how easy these non-negotiables are, but they have to kind of drive you towards your goal a little bit. So you still have that feeling of control. So whatever that may be for you, maybe it's making sure you eat vegetables with every single meal. Yeah, it's small, it's not going to impact you a whole lot, but if you still have control over that, you still are able to stay on track just a little bit better. And if you have a few of these habits, you will stay on track a lot better over time. So don't look for motivation. If motivation is there, by all means, do all that you can to use it to the best of your abilities. But when it's not there, and the reality is it's not going to be there most of the time, like, what do you do then? That's what's going to matter most. Greetings from Ottawa, Canada. Ozark asks, where is the link? The link is for the cookbook is inside my Facebook and Instagram stories. So check Google, not Google me, but find me on Facebook at alex.solomon. Just find me there. Click my stories, swipe up, and you will see that there, or click on the link and you'll take you to a page where you can purchase the cookbook. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you saying that. You can't figure out whether to do cardio intersperse 3 days a week with weights 2 days a week, or swapping around in order to lose weight. Don't complicate it. It's the specifics don't really matter that much. As long as you elevate your weekly average activity level, you will be absolutely fine. So it doesn't really matter too much if your cardio is high intensity every second day, or if it's lower intensity every day. As long as your average weekly activity level is elevated consistently, you'll be absolutely fine. Because what happens a lot of times when you start to nitpick, or you start to focus on all of these details, you end up just feeling too overwhelmed and frustrated, and you get nowhere, right? You try to do everything and you get nowhere. So what I would say is, what is able to be consistent for you, right? For me, it's getting 8 to 10,000 steps every day. That's very realistic for me, and I can actually be consistent with this. So if you intersperse your cardio 3 days a week, or then swap it out, and then you include weights, and you swap that out, and you change things up, that may be too much. So try to dial it back a little bit, see what's sustainable for you and what's able to be consistent for you. It may be less, and if it's less, it's still fine, because you will be more consistent. So I would suggest right now is just to do a bit less, but more consistently, because it's better to be more consistent, but not do so much than try to do so much and not be consistent and then kind of fall off track. Are flavored water enhancers okay? Absolutely. I love Mio, Crystal Light, even some lemon and water, not for the fat burning properties, but because lemon and water is pretty delicious to me. You're 67 and you're at your ideal weight, but you want to build up muscle. Any suggestions? Absolutely. A lot of my clients are older, and they still put on a decent amount of muscle. One of my clients, Deb, she's lost 10 pounds in the last um, 2 months, I believe, but she's lost a lot of inches while gaining muscle, which is absolutely mind blowing. And it's amazing. You can definitely lose weight, not lose weight, but get muscle at any age. It just may be a bit more difficult, but it's not impossible. So right now, I would suggest to just go to the gym if you want to go to the gym and just try out all of the machines, all of the exercises. Don't feel pressure to do anything specific. If you don't want to go to the gym, pick up maybe a pair of dumbbells and try a whole bunch of different exercises, right? Some pulls, pushes, body weight exercises. See what you like, see what you don't like, and kind of separate yourself away from doing things that you don't like and just leave the or filter things that you actually do like and stick with it. You'll be absolutely fine. So I would suggest have some kind of a press, a chest press and a shoulder press, a row, right? Some kind of a core workout, maybe a leg raise, maybe a plank. That'll be very beneficial. Some kind of a squat movement, right? Just start slow. Try out all kinds of exercises, see what you like, because the best exercises for you are the ones that you can do consistently for a long period of time. There's no specific exercise that is the best for you. It's what you can do consistently, advance in as far as how strong you get in that exercise, how many reps you do, all that kind of stuff. So stick with something that you like over a long period of time, and you'll be absolutely fine. Jen, you got the cookbook. Amazing. I love your feedback, and I would love for you to post any kind of recipes that you may try from the cookbook. Tag me in it if you want to. I would love to tag you back in it. And I love that you bought it, and I appreciate your feedback. Thank you. Val asks, how do you get over a weight plateau? Great question. And first, I want to put this out there is a lot of people think they're in a plateau, and they're really not. I'll give you an example with my clients included, my private clients, and they think that they're in a plateau a lot of times. But what actually happens is you're not very consistent. There are probably days during the week where you're just not tracking food. Or if you are tracking food, there's some days in the week where you just don't track all of your food. Maybe you do track all of your food, but there's days during the week where you just completely don't do anything. So your calories in stay the same, but your energy output severely decreases. This is not you being in a weight loss plateau. This is your consistency not being where it needs to be. So I always say this to my clients and everybody here is that if you are in a plateau, focus on your consistency. I don't know if you hear this rain, but it's crazy right now. But fix your consistency, because if you fix your consistency, you become a bit better. You will break this plateau, or you get past it, and you'll see that it's not actually a plateau. A plateau is a plateau only if your energy output and energy input is the same and your weight is not going anywhere. Then you should likely adjust something. But don't adjust anything if there's gaps, there's inconsistencies, there's days of no tracking, no accountability, there's no kind of numbers for any kind of day, right? Because if you're always doing, let's say, 10,000 steps per day, as an example, and there's 3 days where you don't do 10,000 steps, you do maybe 1,000 steps, your weight may or will likely reflect that, but it's not you being a plateau, it's your inconsistency with your caloric output. So don't change anything, but be more consistent. That is it. Hopefully that explains it. If you're getting value so far, drop a number 1 down below in the comments so I know this is actually helpful for you. Jeremy asks, Diet Coke drinks with artificial sweeteners. I know there's 0 calories, but how do you feel about it for other health purposes? Does it not matter? There's been countless studies done, and they actually show that there's no harmful effects of artificial sweeteners on human consumption. The only studies that have shown to be any kind of bad effect was on rodents when it was hyperdosed. Nobody's going to drown themselves in a tanker full of Coke Zero every single day. All the studies have been done on rodents in hyperdosed situations. And on humans, for human consumption, artificial sweeteners are absolutely fine. I drink them probably at least 5 times a week, and they're absolutely fine. And there's actually been studies showing that there is a weight loss effect from diet drinks containing caffeine, because caffeine is a slight appetite suppressant. So if you have more caffeine in your system via maybe 0-calorie drinks, your weight loss may be a tiny bit easier. Just a tiny, not a very significant amount, but a little bit. I appreciate all the questions and everybody for being here. Effie asks, how do you stay on track after you lose the weight and not do the yo-yo dieting? How do you stay on track after you lose the weight? The first thing that you should think is, how are you losing the weight? Because if you're doing something crazy, you're doing like a keto, maybe you're doing a juice cleanse or a detox, you will lose the weight. You will not keep it off, which is why I don't suggest to anyone to not rely on keto, detoxes, any kind of like specific diets. On top of that, meal plans, right? People ask me multiple times per day, do you have a meal plan for me to buy? Do you have this? I'm like, I don't do meal plans. I don't believe in meal plans. I think they're actually pretty stupid, because if I told you you have to eat this food every single day in order for you to lose weight, number one, that creates a reliance on me telling you that you have to do without you having any kind of self-control, or you can't think for yourself, essentially. I would rather teach you how much to eat, what foods to choose from, than to tell you got to eat this food. On top of that, what's the likelihood of anybody sticking to a meal plan as well as a diet long term? Probably zero. So first, you should ask yourself, are you losing the weight in a very sustainable way? Are you understanding nutrition? Are you understanding how many calories you should be eating? Are you understanding how to go out, enjoy yourself, and not have the downfall of guilt triggering a whole bunch of different effects, like binge eating, overeating, maybe skipping meals the following day? It has to be done in a very sustainable way. So understand nutrition. Do not follow any kind of specific method. Understand how many calories you should be eating. And then if you will find that once you reach your weight goal, it'll be a lot easier to maintain that goal, because you reached it in a very sustainable and hopefully an enjoyable way. And one of the reasons why people struggle so much with just keeping the weight off is because they've they restrict themselves so much from all of their favorite foods that once they lose the weight, they feel like a sigh of relief. And then they allow themselves to eat something that they previously eliminated from their nutrition. They go overboard. They eat so much, they lose control, they start binge eating, because it's not a healthy relationship with food. And that's what you have to understand when you're doing this, is your food relationship has to be at a place where you don't have guilt associated with the eating certain foods. And that's what got me off track for years, until I learned that I actually have to learn moderation, learn nutrition, how many calories I need to eat, and just not have guilt affect me in such a crazy way. Went off on a tangent, but hopefully that explains it a bit. I'm slow getting back to everyone's questions. I appreciate everybody for being here. I'm trying my best. There's so many questions. Donald is down 60 pounds since February 17th. Amazing job, Donald. You can barely walk or stand, and your weight is climbing steadily. Dr. S told me I'm nuts, but think heart failure. So activity is limited. Yeah, definitely consult your doctor, a medical professional. I am not a medical professional. I'm just some guy on social media showing you how to lose weight. How do you figure out when macros are perfect for your individual self? There's no perfect macros. As long as you get a good amount of protein and your calories are dialed in, there's no perfect macros. If you're more active as far as maybe the gym, where you are very physical, you exert a lot of physical activity, you will likely need more carbs because it will fuel your body better. But it's on an individual basis, which is why dialing in your calories is the most important thing. And then based on your activity level and how you feel, most importantly, how active you are and how you feel during your workouts, that's when you should try to adjust your macros as far as how many, maybe you should be eating more carbs because you want that energy for your workouts. But if you're not very active in the gym, if you're not really pushing yourself to the limit, maybe you want to tone down on the carbs a little bit. But there's no perfect ratio. It's about trial and error. As much as you may not like to hear that, it's trial and error. It's on your progress, on how steady your progress is going, and it's a very individual basis. For example, some of my clients are we adjust their carbs because they just can't handle that many carbs, and it's a very individualized approach. Some of my clients love carbs; they're very active. Some of my clients may eat the same calories as somebody else or close to, but their carbs are severely reduced. And there's no perfect ratio. It's keeping your protein high and then adjusting the protein a little bit while adjusting the carbs and the fats primarily. And the calories are the most important part as far as weight fluctuations and fat loss. Losing weight right now, there's loose skin. Yeah, loose skin will usually happen if you have a lot of weight to lose. I have some, not that much because I am taller and a bit more muscular, so my loose skin is not that evident. But I definitely have some. I don't want anyone to think that I don't have any. It's one of my personal, like mentally biggest struggles because I know it's there and I don't like it, but it is a reality, and I've learned to come to grips with it over the years. But it will happen. What do I think about swimming? Swimming is amazing if you have access to it. The reason why I don't talk about swimming is because it's such a small percentage of people that can actually have access to swimming that it doesn't serve a purpose to actually talk about it all the time, right? But if you have access to a pool, maybe the ocean, right, or maybe a big jacuzzi, whatever it is, go for a swim. It's amazing for your body. It's easy on your joints, burns a crap ton of calories, but walking is just more accessible for everyone. You're walking 60,000 steps and working 4 days a week. You put on 8 pounds. I think you mean lost 8 pounds. Maybe. I appreciate everybody for being here. So lose weight, calorie deficit, and increase protein. You will lose weight if you're in a calorie deficit, even if you don't increase the protein. It's just a good idea to increase the protein because if you go from well, first of all, protein is very satiating. If you eat more protein during the day, you will be more full throughout the day, right? And also, protein has the highest thermic effect of food, which just means that a lot of the calories from protein will just be your body will use them to just break down the protein, digest it, absorb it, and do what your body does with the protein. Compared to carbs and fats, don't really have that many calories that are used from it to digest it. I think protein is somewhere around 30%. I'm probably way off, but protein, your body uses about three times as many, a bit over three times as many calories to break down protein than it does with carbs and fats. With fats, it's even more than three times. That's a relative range. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate you. You plan to start at the gym. Should you focus on treadmill or weights? I would say weights. Absolutely. You want to use nutrition as your facilitator of fat loss. You want to go to the gym to build muscle, feel better, and just put on muscle and get stronger. You want to use the gym time for that primarily. If you want to use the treadmill, do a treadmill after the workout, but save most of your energy for the actual workout and give it all you got. Will intermittent fasting for years have any side effects? No. I did intermittent fasting for a number of years. I can't really say how many, but on and off for I think it was maybe 4 or 5 years. And there's no benefit to intermittent fasting. I've done it for a long time, and I'm telling you, there's no specific like scientific benefit to it. There's actually a study done that I read a month ago that came out and said there's no benefit to intermittent fasting as compared to a regular calorie deficit. But I still did it because the schedule worked for me, right? So if it works for your schedule and it makes hitting a calorie deficit goal easier, do it. What about breaking up exercises? 10 minutes in the morning, 10 in the afternoon, etc. Or is it better to do together? I would say do it together just because you can reach a better muscular failure if you do certain exercises back to back. But if you go from doing nothing to doing 3 10-minute exercises throughout the day, do 3 10-minute exercises throughout the day. Just get it done. Hi from California. What's going on? Hi from New York. For those of you asking me about the cookbook, I just released a cookbook today. If you want to buy it, you can click on my stories, on my Facebook stories or Instagram stories. You can swipe up or click on the link in there. It will take you to a checkout page. And just let me know when you make the meals. Tag me in it. I would love to see it. And the cookbook has an entire grocery shopping list, a meal plan, as well as a MyFitnessPal scan code. So you can actually scan the meal and it will plug it into my MyFitnessPal right away. Ozark asks, you've been eating the quick and easy breakfast sandwich almost daily for a few weeks. Great stuff. Yeah, that sandwich I made is really good. It uses the 647 bread, which is it tastes really good, and I just absolutely love breakfast foods. Let's see. How did I lose the extra skin? I didn't. The only thing that I did to reduce my loose skin was, number one, I'm taller, so you have to take that into account. I say this all the time. I'm 6'4", so for example, somebody that may be 5'8", for example, if they lose the same amount of weight that I lost, they will have likely more loose skin because their body is shorter and they have larger weight and it's more compressed. So when they lose it, they will have more loose skin. So I'm taller. I'm also more muscular. That's actually what I did to reduce my loose skin is I put on as much muscle as you can, because once your body kind of, if you're very overweight or obese, your body expands, right? Your skin has a certain amount of elasticity, and once it stretches past a certain point of elasticity, it doesn't bounce back, so it becomes saggy. So what can you do to kind of fill in the loose skin? You can put on muscle or get surgery or gain fat again, just to fill it in. That's your only options. You may not like to hear it, but that's your only options, right? So put on some muscle or get surgery. That is the only options. Don't try the creams. Don't try the jiggly machines. Don't try the apple cider vinegar and try to rub some kind of plat or ointment on your belly. It's not going to work. Save your money. It's complete BS. Can you drink tea with sweet and low? Yeah, absolutely, if you like it. What's up, Mercy? Let's see. Keep asking your questions. You walk 200 kilometers a month and lose nothing. Walking or any kind of cardio, any kind of exercises will not allow you to lose weight if you're not in a calorie deficit. So figure out how many calories you have to consume daily to be in a calorie deficit. And the cardio and the exercises should help you reach that calorie deficit. Calories are the most important part. You can, unless you do a marathon or something, or you train for a marathon, that's a lot of calories burned, right? That's a whole different discussion. But for a regular person, you have to just focus on nutrition. Make sure your calories are as dialed in as it could be, and you'll be absolutely fine. Don't try to out-train a diet where or a nutrition plan where you don't have an idea of or a grasp of how much you're eating. Figure out how much you're eating, figure out your caloric intake, and it will all become a lot easier. Do we have to track? Is that the only way? No. So calories matter. You do not have to track them. And if you don't like to track them, I have some of my clients that don't track calories. And what I would suggest for you is, first of all, it's totally fine if you don't want to track calories. It's not for everyone. But here's a few things that you can do in order to still be in a calorie deficit without tracking your food. Um, or tracking your calories. I think that's what you mean. But if you don't track your calories, at the very minimum, write down what you eat. Eat it on a piece of paper, on a notepad, on your phone, on an app, wherever it may be. But in order to still try to reach a calorie deficit, focus on eating lean protein with every meal. Why? Because protein fills you up a lot. And if you have protein from starting from the morning and then for lunch and for dinner, you'll be a lot more fuller throughout the day. Second thing that you can do is get most of your carbs from fruits and vegetables, because fruits and vegetables are very, very filling compared to other things like maybe potato chips, bread, cereal, rice, right? So those fruits and vegetables are way more filling. There's fiber in there and will fill you up more. So lean protein continuously throughout the day. Fruits and vegetables, again, with every meal if you can, or maybe fruit for a snack, but vegetables with every meal. But also, this is very overlooked, is don't skip meals. This is, a lot of people do that, including a lot of people that I personally work with before they start working with me, is don't skip meals, because you may think that by skipping meals you're doing yourself a favor because you're not eating, so you should be losing more weight, but you're actually doing yourself not a favor, because you end up overeating in the evening, and you will just completely go over your calories. So have at least, I don't know, 2-3 meals per day if you can. Just don't starve yourself. If your schedule is super hectic, try to pack some meals that don't take a lot of time to eat, no heating, maybe a snack, maybe a wrap, some yogurt, some fruit. So there's different ways to reach calorie deficit without tracking calories. So write down your food and try to fill up your stomach with as much volume of food and liquid as possible. And by that means also have a decent amount of liquid throughout the day. Not just water, but liquid. Coffee, tea, juices, a diet, juices, um, just all kinds of liquids. What's up, Alf? What's going on? Is body recomposition a fact or a myth? No, it's absolutely a fact. Your body, you may lose or you will lose fat and gain muscle, especially if newbies. Somebody first starting out, you will experience that, especially when you're first starting out, your body will go through a recomposition phase because you will put on a great amount of muscle in the beginning and lose a great amount of fat. So your measurements will change, but your body weight may stay the same. For somebody like me, a whole body recomposition phase is practically impossible unless I stop training for maybe a couple of months completely and then start training back again. And then my body will start to recomp in a sense. Like from someone like me, I've been training over a decade and I'll be lucky to put on a few ounces of extra muscle per year. Ounces, right? People want to put on tens of pounds a year, and that may be possible if you're first starting out and you're a larger individual. You may put on a lot of pounds of muscle, but somebody that's more advanced or has been doing this for a long time, you're looking at ounces. That's how small changes are. But body recomposition definitely occurs for somebody that's new or somebody that took a long break and jumped back into training. Nutritional education references. Absolutely. You can look at precision nutrition as far as some kind of education. You can also, I study from a lot of people. I follow a lot of people. Look at Lane Norton from on Facebook or Instagram. He's actually, I've been following him for a very long time. He's very, very knowledgeable in this field. He's um, a doctor in obesity, not obesity, a doctor in protein synthesis, I believe. You can also follow Dr. Spencer Nadolsky. He's a doctor in um, obesity or specializes in patients with that are obese. Lane Norton, Spencer Nadolsky, you can follow, not follow, but also learn from Precision Nutrition. They have a lot of different resources for nutritional education. I highly recommend that. Crystal Light is absolutely okay. I love Crystal Light. Do I eat bread? Oh, hell yeah, I love eat bread. I love eating bread. Macros, what is a macro? Macros is a macronutrient, essentially a carb, a fat, or a protein. How do you start in the free weights section of the gym when you don't know what to do? You currently stick to machine weights, but I really want to move to the free weight section. It's intimidating. That's a great question, Jill. So, first of all, it is intimidating. The first time I ever went to the gym, I quit and I didn't go back until a year afterwards because I felt out of place. So, first of all, it's awesome that you're still using machines, and there's nothing wrong with machines. Machines are actually very underrated because the thing with machines, as compared to free weights, is that machines do all of the stabilizing or most of the stabilizing for you. Whereas free weights, you have to stabilize it so you will not be as strong. Plus, machines focus on the muscle that's being worked without any kind of extra um, compensation or stabilization muscles taking effect and making you a bit weaker. Machines are great. If you want to jump into free weights, I would say find a few exercises you want to try, even if they may be completely different than what you kind of want to do. Just try them, see if you like them. Maybe go at a time in the gym when there's not a lot of people there and just try out every single imaginable free weight exercise. Get more comfortable. It doesn't have to be that effective. Just try it. Take messy action, try all exercises and see how you like it. And kind of filter out what you don't like, keep what you like, and just build on that. But you can definitely use both free weights and machines together, as well as cables. What do I think is most important macro-wise to focus on for weight loss? Calories. Not macros, calories. But if you want to have a secondary thing, it's protein. Definitely look at or focus on calories primarily, but don't forget fiber. Fiber is oftentimes just kind of forgotten for whatever reason. Don't forget about it. Fiber is very, very important, and it'll keep you full, satiated, keep you regular, going to the bathroom, all that stuff. How should we help your 11-year-old with emotional eating? I'm not a professional with, teenagers or young kids like that. I can only speak from personal experience. It should be, maybe taken to a professional or somebody who specializes in young kids like that. The only advice I can offer you is my own personal experience, and figure out what may be causing these episodes of emotional eating. Maybe it's an outlet for something. Maybe like for me, I ate emotionally because I was bullied in school. So I came home and I said, screw it. I'm just gonna order everything: the Chinese food, the pizza, the Mexican food, and just lots of it. That was my escape. And I'm not saying that's what's happening to your kid, but that's what happened to me. So I'm not sure if that helps you at all, but you got to figure out why these episodes are being triggered for your child. If you're still with me, type number 1 down below. Where do I shop for all of my products that I use to cook, like the low-calorie tortilla wrap? You can find the low-calorie tortilla wraps in mostly all supermarkets. They're the Mission carb balance wraps. They have like spinach wraps, whole wheat. They're mostly found in all stores. However, the 647 bread is not found in a lot of stores. It's more kind of like here and there. But I shop at a regular supermarket, nothing special. Target as well, Also, Target has a lot of lower calorie ice creams. You don't like to get on a scale a lot. How often should you adjust your TDEE? So TDEE is my nose is so stuffed. Total daily energy expenditure. That doesn't have anything to do with you getting on scale at certain periods of time. You should only adjust you don't really adjust your TDEE. That's just how much energy you expend. So you can't really adjust that unless you want to do more cardio, but only do that if your weight is actually in a plateau. So you can do that the hardest thing to do is to do more. The easiest thing to do is to eat a bit less, which is why when you want to start off by eating as much food as possible, because once you hit a plateau, you want to have a large bumper to kind of adjust. If you're already eating too little, the only thing that you can do in order to get past the plateau is to move more. That's very difficult. But if you're already starting off eating a lot of food and you hit maybe a plateau for a few weeks, you can easily reduce your calories by a little bit because you have such a large bumper to work with. But if you're already eating so little, you have no choice but to do more, and that may lead to you burning out or just making it very, very difficult for you. Can I give an example of an on-the-go protein when traveling? I travel a lot and need suggestions. One of my clients recommended Fairlife protein drinks. I believe they have like 30 grams of protein in a shake. They taste really good. You can find them on Amazon or 7-Eleven, Target, Costco, BJ's, stuff like that. They're called Fairlife drinks. You can try that. Or I've been drinking and eating sometimes is bodybuilding.com's chocolate fudge whey protein. It's exceptionally good. I don't know what the hell they put in there, but it's really good. You just want to stay away from the low quality protein powders because not all protein powders are created equal, especially the lower quality ones like Walmart brands, pharmacy brands. They use fillers in their protein. So the number of protein that you see that it says on the box is a lot less than what it says because they use other kinds of fillers in it, which is why it's so cheap. So you do want to spend the extra few dollars to buy a higher quality brand because it will use higher quality protein, which means the protein that you see on the label will be a lot closer to it than if you were to spend money on something cheap like a pharmacy brand. Are resistance bands good to use? If that's your only choice, do it. It's absolutely fine. Start somewhere, take messy action. If you doing or using resistance bands is just what you can do right now, that's absolutely fine. Don't feel forced to go to the gym. Don't feel forced to do any kind of crazy exercises. Start slow. get consistent with doing the bands. And then if you want to graduate or maybe move up to free weights, maybe you want to go to the gym, you don't have to. A lot of my clients don't even go to the gym. You can incorporate that. Is there a certain amount of days you should go to for losing weight? Where I go, there's only machine weights. I mean, if you work out like 3 to 5 times a week, you'll be absolutely fine. Don't overcomplicate it. Thank you, Effie. I appreciate it. You have thyroid problems, no thyroid, and half a parathyroid. What will work for me? First of all, I would suggest to speak to a professional, a medical professional. Make sure you're taking the right medication if you have to take that. People that have thyroid issues, they can still lose weight. It's just their basal metabolic rate is greatly reduced depending on how severe your situation is. It is not impossible. It is just more difficult. So first, speak to a medical professional, see if you should be taking any kind of medication, and then use that. And then work on figuring out your maintenance calories. And your maintenance calories will likely be a lot less than somebody that's not struggling with thyroid issues. So once you find your maintenance calories, whatever it may be, because a calculator may not be accurate and probably will not be accurate, especially if you have underlying conditions like no thyroid, then once you find your maintenance calories, then reduce that by a little bit or leave it as maintenance calories and increase your activity. Maybe start incorporating a few walks, a jog if you want to, and a workout as well, or a few workouts. Thoughts on Splenda? I absolutely love Splenda. I put it in my coffee. I put it in some recipes once in a while. Nothing wrong with it. I love it. What's up, Lisa? I appreciate you being here. First time live. James asks, what advice do you have for a CPT that has a new online client whose only goal is fat loss? More specifically, which exercises overall programming do you recommend the most? Thank you. So you have a new online client. Awesome. Congratulations. Who wants to lose fat? Awesome. Which exercises overall programming do you recommend the most? Depending on how new the client is, a lot of my clients are pretty new, so to the whole entire idea of weight loss, fat loss, all that kind of stuff. So I recommend to keep it very simple. Somebody who's very new, what should be looked at is intimidation and feeling frustrated with doing everything. And a lot of times, less is more. So you may not want to give the client a whole bunch of daily tasks, because if they're starting out doing so many tasks from day one, it may be a bit too overwhelming. I would say to start off and working out. First of all, see if they even want to work out, right? Recommend it, but don't enforce it. Focus at least 80% of their focus on nutrition. Educate them, show them how much they should be eating, show them that the calories, if you use calories, not everybody does, it's a range. It's not a perfect number, because a lot of times clients may beat themselves up if they kind of go over the calories. So show them that it's a range and it's not a specific number. Also, incorporate ways to increase their average weekly activity level, maybe by not means of working out. Maybe if they don't want to jump into that ship right now as far as working out, don't do it. Don't force workouts, but try to maybe get them to be a bit more active every day. Such small things as maybe if they take the train or a bus to work, maybe get out a bus stop or a train stop earlier, so you have to walk a little bit further. Maybe walk to the nearest or the second closest train or bus stop to get your steps in, right? If there's an ultimate goal of how active you want them to be later on, maybe build up to that and kind of ramp them up. So I would say, maybe I just went on a whole tangent, but start them slow if the client is new. But fat loss is what everybody wants, right? And as far as exercises, I would say to have, if they're doing two workouts a week, I would say to do 2 full body days per week. So you get to hit each muscle group twice a week. Excuse me. If they're doing 3 workouts a week, you can perhaps do a push workout, a pull workout, and a lower body workout. You can also do a upper body day, a lower body day, and a full body day. That's also pretty good. Yeah, I mean that's all options. I appreciate you asking me that. It's a very different question. I absolutely love it. As far as programming, a lot of clients will need different programming, right? So see if the client even wants to train yet, but focus mostly on nutrition and try to have adherence to a nutrition plan, at least 80% adherence. Margaret, if you didn't hear about my cookbook, I made a cookbook today. There's over 30 recipes that have 5 ingredients because I don't like to use a lot. I don't like to cook that intensively. There's also a full grocery shopping list as well as a meal plan regarding with those recipes, as well as a MyFitnessPal barcode that you can scan with that recipe you just made, so you kind of plug it in very easily. If you want to buy the cookbook, you can click on my stories inside Facebook or Instagram. You can swipe up where the link is or click the link and it will take you to a checkout. And make sure you tag me in it. I would love to see how your recipes comes out. How do you maintain on the weekend? It's so hard to not eat junk food on the weekends. Um, I would say focus on whole meals. A lot of times junk food or people eat a lot of junk food is because it's in front of them and they're hungry. So try to get your base meals in, whole meals, get the protein in, get the vegetables in, snack on fruit if you have to. What you're going to find is that once those snacks are in front of you, you don't have such a crazy craving to eat a lot of those snacks. Because if you don't have a whole meal beforehand and those snacks are in front of you, you will overconsume calories because you're hungry and you're trying to not be hungry. So you're going to eat very, very calorically dense food, chips, ice cream, cookies, whatever it may be. So eat whole meals. And also alcohol is what gets people off track because it's how much they eat after they drink. So make sure that you eat before you drink alcohol if you choose to still drink alcohol. Because if you don't, you become more tipsy and you will have almost no control over how much you're going to be eating. And it's going to be a very difficult time for weight loss. I will also link the cookbook inside the comments since a lot of people can't find it. I appreciate everybody that asks me about it. Would you recommend whey protein? Absolutely. Whey protein is one of the easiest ways to get protein in because there's no cooking time. You can drink it, you can make it into a smoothie, cook with it. Very, very easy. Yeah, Kathleen says she slips up because she's not hungry. And in the evening, she wants to pig out around 9 p.m. It's exactly what I mean. If you make it a goal to have at a minimum 2 or 3 meals per day, you're not going to have 3 meals back to back to back. You will likely have a meal for breakfast, meal at lunch, and a meal for dinner. This will effectively reduce the chance of you going overboard at dinner because you starved yourself for the 3 quarters of the day, and now for the last quarter of the day, you just have to get all your calories in because you can't control yourself. It's a very difficult situation. Have your meals. Even like if you can't make a meal, take 2 snacks and treat it like a meal. Just make it good enough. Take messy action. What's up, Austin? You're trying to lose 75 pounds. That's awesome, man. You're gonna do this. Yeah, just take action. And if anybody wants any kind of additional help or support on reaching their own weight loss goals, and you want to have guidance and support every step of the way and accountability, you can message me on alexsolomoncoaching@gmail.com or on Facebook. Shoot me a message. You can type in 2022, and if we're a good fit, we'll work together. And I'll show you exactly what you should be doing in order to reach your goal. But most importantly, how to actually do it in a very sustainable way. So reach out to me at alexsolomoncoaching@gmail.com or shoot me a message on Facebook if you want to work together. Is it okay to do supersets on every exercise? I would not do supersets on every exercise. I would do a superset maybe on the last exercise or at most 2 of the last exercises. But for every exercise, it's not going to be benefit. You're going to burn yourself out. You got to give your muscle adequate, just what do you call it? I'm drawing a blank. Just a lot of resistance. You can't treat supersets like a little sprinkle at the very end of your workout. If every single one of your exercises is a superset, you're not going to get that strong and you're not going to grow your muscle that much. Supersets should be done usually at a later time when your muscle is already fatigued by doing the main compound lifts that you that you've been doing before, or the machines you've been doing before that specify or focus on a specific muscle group? How do you afford actual healthy food when you are on a tight, strict, low budget? That's a great question. So, potatoes are pretty cheap. Potatoes are absolutely amazing for weight loss. They're very filling. I don't mean mashed potatoes. I don't mean baked potatoes with butter and cheese. No, I just mean regular potatoes. So bake them. They're absolutely amazing for weight loss. You can also get rice. A giant bag of rice, like a jasmine rice, is probably like $1,000 in New York, but a lot less somewhere else because the prices here are ridiculous. But rice is cheap. You know, brown rice, white rice, jasmine rice, whichever rice you want to do, and chicken. Find chicken on sale and get some dry seasonings. Chicken is the cheapest protein, right? As far as protein content, chicken thighs are a bit cheaper, I believe, but there's more fat in there, less protein. So chicken, potatoes, rice. You can have a whole entire week's worth of meal planning just from those meals. Get some frozen vegetables. Get some maybe regular vegetables, put it on the side, get some lettuce, some crunchy water, get some cucumbers if you want to, some pickles. Stick to rice, potatoes, chicken, maybe even chicken thighs if you want to. You don't have to eat all these fancy foods, all this organic stuff. Yeah, it's nice, it tastes better, but it's not. As far as body composition, organic stuff will not have any difference for your body composition than regular food that's not organic. What's a good protein cereal? Uh, I think Special K has a few protein cereals that are pretty good. Also, Kashi has some good ones, but um, yeah, I'm not too well versed in like protein. I think Magic Spoon has some. Magic Spoon on Amazon has some good protein cereal choices. I've never tried it. I just heard of it. Yeah, Mission Carb Balance for apps are absolutely amazing. How long did it take before you start seeing visible results? Um, I don't know. That's a great question because when you see yourself in the mirror every single day, you don't see differences until somebody else points it out months later. So for me, I didn't see differences in myself until a very long time because seeing yourself in the mirror every day, you don't notice differences. But when you see yourself maybe on a photo that was taken when you first started compared to where you are now, like, wow, I changed a lot. Maybe seeing yourself in the video or somebody else tells you or compliments you and you kind of like realize, wow, I did come so far. My clothes do fit different. So as far as myself, I can't tell. Maybe 6 months I started seeing results. I mean, obviously I was seeing results. I mean, I was getting results um, much earlier, but as far as seeing results, um, not that quickly. That's just a reality. I don't lie to you. I tell you exactly how it is. You've been on a 1,200 calorie diet in the past and also perimenopausal. Need to restart since COVID. Need to lose 40 pounds. Weights and walking. Weights and walking is definitely a great idea. It's a great way to start. Take messy action. Don't rely on any kind of specific exercises. Just try whatever you want to try. Dial in the details later. Cross that bridge when you get there. But for now, just get active, walk outside, do some kind of exercises. The details don't matter. Do some core workouts, do some presses, some pulls. You'll be absolutely fine. And then once you want to actually um, dial it in a bit better, then you can start to actually look at different programs, that kind of stuff. You can't stop craving sweets. Sweets are delicious. Absolutely. Um, if you can't stop craving something, you should look at two things. First is, have you been trying to eliminate it from your diet? Because a lot of times cravings happen when you tell yourself, I can't eat this food no matter what. Because it's going to build up more and more over time to the point where this crazy restriction or elimination will cause you to just crave that food, right? Second thing you should look at is, are you hungry? Because a lot of times when you're not eating enough and you're hungry and that sweet is in front of you, you think that you're actually craving it, but you're just hungry. You're trying to not be hungry. And if that snack is in front of you that you actually crave, you're going to eat up a lot of it and probably feel guilty afterwards. So focus on actually having meals, your protein, your vegetables, some kind of a carb on your meal. Fill up. And if you do, and that food that you previously were craving is in front of you, you may have a couple of it or one of it, wherever it may be, but not that much of it because you don't have the desire to eat that much of it because you are actually full, if that makes sense. How old was I when I first lost weight? I think I started like when I was 19 or 20. Pretty late, I mean, in my opinion, as far as, I wish I started sooner, but hindsight's always 2020. Thank you. Thank you, John. Appreciate you saying that. Will you get any benefits in using 2 pound weights? You have arthritis in your right shoulder, so you want to start out lighter. I haven't had much energy lately. Yeah, you can definitely see results using 2 pound weights. Not as much as maybe a heavier weight, but just do a bit more reps. Um, do some body weight exercises. You'll be absolutely fine. I appreciate everybody being here. As far as the online calculator, if you want to find your um, calories or find out what they should be relatively, you can type in Tdee calculator into Google, and it will take you to one of many calculators out there. You can type in your stats. It will give you a number which will be your caloric goals for every day. Yep, Grace just linked one. Thank you. If I had to choose 3 weight loss meals to eat for 3 months, what would they be? That's a great question. I would have my veggie scramble for breakfast. I absolutely love it because it's just tastes great to me. And I would have baked potatoes or air fried potatoes with a my shredded chicken on the side because it's just honestly I just love the way it tastes. And my third meal would probably be that's a good question. My third meal would probably be that breakfast sandwich I made a video about with the 647 bread. I'll probably make 2 of those sandwiches, but that'll be my third meal. How far did I walk daily when I first started? I walked as far as I could. It wasn't far. I got tired very quickly. I got sweaty very quickly. It hurt to walk. So 15, 20, 25 minutes, and I stopped. And that built up over time. Does cleaning the house burn a lot of calories? Mopping floors, vacuuming, etc. Absolutely. So what people this is like the secret. So people think that calories are managed with exercises, cardio, and nutrition, which they are. But people don't realize one of the biggest important factors as far as your caloric expenditure is called NEAT. NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And essentially, that just means all of the calories your body burns outside of working out, such as laundry, wiping the floors or washing the floors, cleaning the house, bringing things up and down the stairs, walking to your car after work, before work. Maybe it's grocery shopping. It could be cleaning up after your kids, your dog, maybe doing your lawn. All of that stuff burns so many calories people don't realize. So if you want to actually increase your metabolism, do those things more. Do a bit more laundry more frequently. Maybe sweep your floors a bit more frequently, and that will increase your metabolism because that stuff burns a lot of calories that people don't even realize about. And I appreciate you asking that question. That's a very good one. Heat or sauna suits, gimmick or useful? Uh, the sauna suits are great if you're trying to cut weight for a fight, or if you're like a wrestler, because you have to drop weight. You don't have to drop fat; they have to drop weight. And when you sweat, you lose weight. You don't lose fat. So it's great for wrestlers or athletes that have like a fight, like a UFC or a boxing fight. But as far as fat loss, it does absolutely nothing. What's up, Alex? My week's going good. How's your week going? If I had to pick one, air fryer or a grill, I wish I had a grill. I don't have a grill. I use a pan and oven and an air fryer. But if I had a grill, I would definitely pick a grill. The taste of grilled protein is absolutely second to none. Are calories really equal? Yes, a calorie is a calorie because a calorie is just a unit of measurement. However, calories from protein are different than calories from fat, different than calories from carbs because calories from um, protein has a different thermic effect of food compared to carbs, compared to fats. So a calorie is a calorie, but where the calorie comes from, that's what's different. Thank you, Cynthia. I appreciate you getting that cookbook. I'm actually, this is a little off topic, but this has been on my mind for a while now. But if since I have a lot of people on the live, I'll appreciate your feedback. I'm thinking about making a members only website with a members only Facebook group where I will be doing a lot of in-depth Q&As multiple times per week. There will be different cookbooks, there'll be different recipes uploaded every single month, as well as different workouts for you to do. There'll be different kinds of accountability and motivation and just more support in the group. It's not going to be expensive. It's going to be a lot less than my personal private coaching is. It'd be probably be around the price of a cup of coffee per day. It's not a lot for all the value in there. And if you would like me to work on this, type number 2 down below so I can get a gauge of interest, because there's no point for me to actually make this or put this together if there's no interest in it. So I would love to hear your feedback. And if there is enough interest, I will work on it, because um, I want to serve people as much as possible. That's my thing. And I want to help as many people as I can. I've said this before, but when I first started my weight loss journey back in the day, not when I first started, when I first started seeing results the right way, I told myself, because I struggled for a lot, years, I was just spinning my wheels in place. And when it clicked, I told myself, this is exactly what happened is, um, one day, I don't know if it'll be true or not, but I told myself one day, I want to help as many people as possible know that they can do this too. And it's not magical. It is doable for them. And that kind of like went on the back burner for years until I actually started to do more social media, started to actually coach people, way back in the day. But it was a gradual increase. So that was like my mission back in the day, which I never thought would be possible. But I would love to help as many people as I can. So if you want to see me do that, just type number 2 down below and I'll gauge how much interest there is. House plain oatmeal. Yeah, oatmeal is absolutely amazing. Tons of fiber. It's very cheap. Um, Pretty filling. It's a great choice. Thank you, Grace. I appreciate you linking that. How many diet pops or crystal light packets a day do you suggest? I can't tell you that. Whatever you want. How do you get in touch with me with support? You can either email me at alexsolomoncoaching@gmail.com, or you can shoot me a message on Facebook. Uh, yeah, just shoot me a message. Did I have any physical or mental roadblocks when losing weight? Oh yeah. I should make a whole entire video about my mental roadblocks when I was losing weight. Um, yeah, I mean, self-comparison, guilt, just starving myself, binge eating. A lot of this was caused by unrealistic expectations of myself and what I should look like and progress that I should be seeing, mainly because I tried to compare myself to other people that I had no business comparing myself to. Fitness models, which I thought they all actually look like because I had no idea what Photoshop is. I had no idea how done up they are. I just saw these perfect physiques, all these strong people, and I'm like, wow, why am I not like that? And then they just start to mess with me, right? Every time I look at myself, I have tons of stretch marks. So I'm like, my body's not perfect. I'll never be perfect. So I try to kind of punish myself with food, which was counterproductive because I was trying to lose weight. And that's just made me just cycle back and forth as far as like my weight fluctuations is a whole battle, which is why I'm so open with you when I tell you that the first couple of years were just absolutely difficult, right? Um, I didn't know about calories. I just thought that food was bad. So whenever I ate bad food, and back in the day, bad food for me was like French fries. I love French fries. So whenever I had a bad food, I just snowballed in that direction, which is completely, you know, it's a mental roadblock because you can't have a bad association with food, because if you do, you will eat that food. It's just a matter of time when, and you will feel guilty about it. So a lot of roadblocks that I came across, physical roadblocks. My first, I guess, physical and mental roadblock was the first time I went to the gym. Um, I went to the gym because somebody kind of forced me to go, like a friend of mine back in the day. And I felt so out of place because I was like thinking to myself, what other people are thinking of me? And I was thinking that people were saying to themselves, like, look at this fat kid. What's he doing here? He shouldn't be here. He should be on a treadmill, go outside, stop eating so much. All these like things that I thought everybody was thinking about me, but it was just me thinking that to myself. So I quit the gym, the first and only time I ever went, until a year later when I went back to the gym, and I haven't looked back. As far as other mental, physical roadblocks, um, injuries. I mean, if you're in a physical if you're physically active, you will get injured. It's just a matter of time when. So it's just how bad do you get injured. It can be maybe little bruises, maybe it's little tears once in a while, which is fine. It comes with the territory. But I have some bigger injuries. I have 2 herniated discs, which is probably done from doing something stupid back in the day, which I had no idea what I was doing, as well as tendonitis, partially torn meniscus due to being stupid in the gym. But there's different various degrees of physical roadblocks and limitations, but that's what I experienced. And what's my process to push through? My process to push through is just to know that this applies to everything, right? This is my mentality for a lot of areas of life, whether it's business, fitness, health, whatever it is out there. And I tell myself that everybody out there, or I have the ability to be as successful or be in the same place as somebody else. And what somebody else achieved is not something that I can't achieve myself. It's just that that person put the time in, they took the right direction, they took the right steps, and I can do the same exact thing if I take very similar steps, and I'm no different than anybody else, right? And that keeps me pushing forward, whether it's the fitness models, whether it's people in business, whether people in this and that, social media. I tell myself that I can be exactly where that person is because what they did is not anything that's out of this world. And I apply the same concept to my clients. And I tell every one of my clients that whatever progress somebody else achieved, whatever progress I achieved, you have the ability to reach that goal yourself and then surpass it, because nobody is special. Everybody got to where they are because they put the work in. They did the right thing. Maybe they hired some coaches, they hired some mentors. Like I've hired so many different business coaches because I want to learn. That's my thing. I've hired strength coaches before, right? Because I want to learn from people, and getting that accountability helps me. This is a whole different subject, but hopefully that helps. Do I have a recommended calorie calculator? I don't. They're all pretty similar. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you. Did you ever get below 230 pounds in bulk or drop straight to 230 from 365? No. So 230 is the lowest I've ever been. Maybe I'll go get below that. I don't know. It's very hard for me. I'm taller. Um, I plateaued around like 270 for a while. 250 is where my body maintains its weight on very, very well. And from 230 to about 260 is where the slowest amount of progress takes. So it's never a straight shot. It slowed down drastically for years, and then little tweaks get it reignited again. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Brian. You need help getting motivated, Kristen. You want to lose weight and you actually enjoy working out, but you keep coming up with excuses to start. Take messy action. Don't look at the details. If you're looking at your workout program and it may seem intimidating, and now you don't want to do it, just do something. Just make it a goal to enter the gym, enter your workout space, or walk outside if you're going for a walk, and just put yourself in the environment. The hardest part is just putting yourself in that environment, because I guarantee you, once you step foot into the gym, you got to do something. If you got to go for a walk, but you feel intimidated because you have to do 10,000 steps, make it a goal to just walk outside. You're not going to go back in the house after 2 minutes. You're probably going to do a few thousand steps at least, right? Put yourself in that environment, in that position to actually be a bit more successful and have some non-negotiables. Again, it comes down to your non-negotiables every day. What do you do today that will just get you to be a little bit more successful today? 4,000 steps. Make it a goal to do 3 ab exercises at home, right? That will make you feel more in control. And once that compounds, you start to do more and more and more to the point where your baseline is just a lot more than you were doing before. So if you feel like you're getting off track because you have excuses, also realize or ask yourself, what is your pleasure island, right? What's your pleasure island? What are you going to get out of this? You're not doing this. A lot of people don't do this for themselves. They do it for other people, their kids, their spouses, um, all the other things. Like, what can you do afterwards? Or who do you impact once you're at your goal? Maybe you can spend time with your kids differently. Maybe you can do certain things. Some of my clients, they love that they can go on a roller coaster now because they're just in a weight where they can actually do that activity. Maybe you want to put on a swimsuit. And if that's the case, put that on your phone, put that on your fridge. So every time that you walk by your fridge or you look at your phone, you look at your pleasure island. You have to look at what's the end goal for you. And picture it and put yourself in the environment and in the position to actually be a bit more active, or have some non-negotiables as far as nutrition. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you, Randy. The cost of healthy food is expensive. Processed junk is cheap. Any suggestions for cost-effective meals? As far as cost-effective meals, I just mentioned that a few minutes ago. I suggested chicken breast is very, very cheap, especially on sale. Oatmeal, somebody else suggested, great choice. Potatoes and rice. And the rest, just fill in the blanks. Get some dry seasonings, get some kind of sauces, make food taste a bit different, and you'll be absolutely fine. Like chicken breast, chicken thighs are cheaper usually, but they have more fat in it, not as much protein. So get some chicken thighs, right? Get some potatoes, some rice, some oatmeal, some like low-fat milk if you want to. And you don't need organic food. You don't need the high top of the line food. Oh yeah, eggs, obviously. I almost forgot. Get some eggs. You don't gotta get organic eggs. Get some regular eggs. You will be absolutely fine. Sorry, so many questions here. It's hard to get back to everyone. You're watching this as you meal prep healthy veggies. Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you meal prep on Sunday or Monday. Just focus on, at minimum, your protein. Protein is the hardest food to actually meal prep. It takes the most time. So get that out of the way, and you can find carbs everywhere. Fruits and vegetables, uh, chips, they're everywhere. But the protein is the hardest one to actually uh, get in every day. But if you focus on meal prep on just the protein, you'll be a lot more successful. Do I have any recommendations for older women? I'm healthy, walk 10K steps per day, eat less than 1,500 calories a day. Um, Depends what your goals are. I'm assuming your goals are weight loss. I can't tell you exactly how much you should be eating. I don't know the details about you. Again, what I would recommend is to focus on consistency. If you say you're eating 1,500 calories and your goals are to lose weight, see if you're consistent with your caloric intake as well as your 10,000 steps. If you're not consistent and you have some days where maybe you don't do the steps, or you don't count your food, or you don't count all your food, work on that consistency, dial in that consistency to be as accurate as possible, and you will get better results as a result. What's up, Larry? How do I feel about oats as part of my diet? You have a high cholesterol and they help with lowering LDL. Oats are fine. I eat it. I'm not a huge fan of them, but I eat them whenever I feel like it. Funny thing, I tried eating plain oats as like a finger snack. It's actually not that bad. Might sound pretty gross. Thank you, Daryl. I appreciate you saying that. How much protein you have to intake? Roughly zero point 0.8 to 1 gram of lean body weight or goal body weight. Don't base it off of your body weight. Base it off of lean or goal body weight. Did I ever get injured? How do you manage it? Absolutely. Yeah, it comes with the territory. You will get injured. I have my tendonitis is pretty bad. I got a partially torn meniscus, 2 herniated discs in my lower back. How do I manage that? I could have managed it a lot better. I didn't, because I was stupid and I tried to get back into the gym much sooner than I should have. Rest is the best course of action. If you have, for example, a let's say tendonitis, right? It's better to do, if you still want to go to the gym, just work around the injury. Don't train that muscle group that is around that injury, right? I did. My recovery severely slowed down, but just work around it. If it's a big injury where you can't do anything, and just don't do anything in the gym, just take some rest period. You're gonna feel like crap because you can't work out. It's to be expected, but just know that it's better to take 2 or 4 weeks off the gym than to have 12 months of misery because you want to go to the gym. Think about it that way. I also love vodka. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, just make it fit into your nutrition for the day. I would take, I would subtract the calories from alcohol from either your fats or your carbs, not from your protein. Are all calories actually equal? Yes. Like 100 calories of cookies, same as 100 calories of protein? No, because calories from protein will have a higher protein. There's a thing called thermic TEF. You can look it up on Google if you'd like to. A thermic effect of food, which essentially means how many calories does your body use? How much energy does your body use to break down certain foods? Protein, your body uses way more calories to break down as compared to carbs. However, fats take even less calories for your body to break it down. So a calorie is a calorie, but where the calorie comes from is different, because if the thermic effect of food from protein is like 30-ish, a bit more percent, 30% of calories from protein will be used to break itself down. Fat is like 7-ish percent, so some around 7 to, we'll say around 5% of calories from fat will be used to break it down. My numbers are way off, but it's a lot less than protein. And carbs are a bit more than fat, but a lot less than protein. So where the calories come from is completely different. That's what matters a lot. But a calorie is just a unit of measurement of heat. That's it. But where it comes from does matter. And on top of that, 100 calories from cookies will not fill you up as much as 100 calories of protein. Would I recommend intermittent fasting? No, unless it fits your schedule. It's up to you. Just start doing machines. Are more reps important than more weight? What's a good place to start? Uh, s- Work in the 8 to 15 rep range. Make sure you reach some kind of muscular fatigue in that rep range. Kodiak Food Line, yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, high protein. They taste pretty good. Absolutely. Yeah, intermittent fasting is fine if it fits your schedule. It is not any more beneficial than being in a regular calorie deficit. If it makes reaching your calorie deficit easier, by all means, do intermittent fasting. And once again, I appreciate everybody who bought the cookbook. I love your feedback, and make sure you tag me in it. Use hashtag Alex Solomon if you want, so I can kind of see your meals and repost them. If you want to get the cookbook yourself, you can click on my stories on Instagram or Facebook. I believe it was posted also in the Facebook live chat over here. See if you want to pick it up. Also, if you want some personal support and guidance and accountability on reaching your own weight loss goals, you can shoot me an email at alexsolomoncoaching@gmail.com, or shoot me a message on Facebook. And if we're a good fit to work together, we'll work together. And I appreciate everybody for being here, and I'll see you next time.